Hello, people. I am Jaby Koay, joined by Achara, KIRK.
Hello there.
We're gonna look at Dark Skin and Getting Married, stand-up comedy by Saikiran.
Or Saikiran.
You know, Hay is H-A-I, right?
Yes.
Right? And so I thought it maybe, my instinct is Saikiran. You guys, make sure to head over to his YouTube channel. He's got 243,000 subscribers. Get him to 250. He's almost there. There's a link in the description below to his original upload, so go there, subscribe to his channel, and then hit upvote on the original video, please, if you enjoy it. Here we go.
So my name is Saikiran. I come from a nearly nice family.
He said nearly.
I love my mother. She's a good mother. I tell everywhere she's a great mother. But she isn't satisfied.
Of course not.
She says, I don't want to be a good mother or a great mother. Make me a grandmother. But it's not easy, difficult, because it's not easy for me to get married. Because I'm very bad at first impressions. Most girls who see me for the first time don't like me. If only they spend some time with me and get to know me better, they start to truly hate me. Like even when I'm silently walking on the road minding my own business, any woman coming in the opposite direction instinctively crosses to the other side of the road.
Why?
And nowadays with all this news about violence against women, the moment women see me, they start covering themselves with their sari pallus like this all over. One day I saw a girl do it and I just lost it. Hey, what are you doing? Do I look like a molester? She said, no. I thought you were a chain snatcher.
What?
Chain snatcher, like people who steal jewelry.
Oh.
It happens all the time to me because I'm dark skinned. People don't like dark skinned people in our country. Forget others, my own parents. Like when I was born in the hospital, looking at me, their first reaction was, Ayyo. They said it so loudly, half the hospital thought I was a girl.
Oh, wow, double
Damn.
a joke there.
My mom
Double
made
darkness.
it her mission in life to make me fairer. She had a poster of Michael Jackson in the kitchen. If his mom can do it, I can do it. My mom spent more money on almond milk to rub on my skin and make it fairer than buffalo milk to feed me.
Is that a thing?
I was just born dark. I grew up to be dark and malnourished. Like I'm a fully grown adult today, but my mom doesn't let me touch coffee or tea. Saying drinking them will make me darker. Boost and Bonvita also banned. People like my mom believe the color of what you eat affects the color of your skin. That's why South Indians are obsessed with eating everything in bite.
Have you noticed that? I don't think so.
No.
Rice with curd, appam with stew, idli with coconut chutney.
Maybe they just taste
Doesn't
good.
make a difference. No matter the color of what you eat, the end result is still brown.
It's true.
Skin. But I can understand my parents' disappointment because in my family we have both genes. My grandfather was dark, but my grandmother was fair. Forget South Indian fair. Forget North Indian fair. Imagine an Afghanistani. Albino. That's how fair she was. And they both got married. Because my grandfather was dark and rich. My grandmother was fair and poor. Now I am dark and poor. But we have the other branch of the family, my cousins, who inherited all the money and the fair genes. Oh, they make so much fun of me. Arey Saikiran, you're such a lucky guy. Because you're dark. Unlike us, you can go out in the sun whenever you want. As if my skin doesn't burn. This is melanin, not Teflon. These fair-skinned morons think that if a cow stays in the sun for too long, it becomes a buffalo. animals, even gods cannot escape this discrimination in our country. You all know Lord Krishna. Krishna means dark. He's described in the Mahabharata as Neela Meghashyam, which means as dark as the rain-filled cloud. Then why the hell do they show him everywhere to be sky blue in color? Like, how colorblind do you have to be to confuse the color of the cloud to the color of the sky? That's why we can't predict rains in this country properly. If you remember TV Mahabharata, Lord Krishna was played by Nitish Bharadwaj, who was super fair. That's like Leonardo DiCaprio playing Nelson Mandela. Because we can't accept a hero can be dark skinned. Why? We are just dark, not shady. I don't think Lord Krishna was really a thief. No. He was just the darkest child in Vrindavan. And everybody accused him only. Because all the stuff that was getting stolen were white eatables. Butter, milk, curd. Who else? But at least ancient India was a progressive time. Because in spite of all the propaganda, Lord Krishna was very lucky with the ladies. Not something I can claim to be. I recently read a report by jeevansathi.com. According to it, 71% of Indian women want their husbands to be fair-skinned. The rest 29% don't care about skin color, as long as the guy is rich. So in this country, to whitewash brown skin, you need black money. My face is red with anger, but you can't notice it because of my skin color. See, I know about these matrimonial sites, unfortunately. Because let's be honest, this face wasn't exactly manufactured anticipating the arrival of Tinder. The highest my parents aimed was telugumatrimony.com. And I registered on that site some time back. And there I realized that the competition for Indian women is absolutely brutal. On these websites, for 100 men, there are barely 50 women. And NRIs take away the top 20 export quality girls.
NRIs.
The next 20 go to the two eyes of India. IITs and IIMs.
Engineering.
Oh.
Men like me don't stand a chance. So I clearly wrote in my profile, I may not be NRI or an IITian, but I'm healthy, I'm a vegetarian, and I do not smoke or drink, even coffee or tea. I thought many women will be impressed by someone like that. And I got 5 responses. Not from women, but from people requesting blood and organ donations. It was a bit painful, but I took the money and the fruity and registered myself on shadi.com.
Yep.
And I'm very proud to tell you, just a few weeks back, I completed 5 years as a fully paid member of shadi.com. Apparently, I'm the first person in the country to reach this milestone. So they sent me a congratulatory email.
Really?
That can't be real.
And they said after 5 years on shadi.com, most men get into a committed relationship or commit suicide. So as a special gesture towards me, they gave me a free upgrade to the Fresh Faces section of secondshadi.com. And there on that website, I saw all these familiar girls who 5 years ago rejected me, got married, had kids, got divorced, and again on this website, again rejecting me. Deja vu! They say I'm incompatible with their kids. If you agreed 5 years ago, that would have been my kid. But a lot of people wonder if a product is on display, either Amazon.com or Shadi.com, either it's a marketing defect or a manufacturing defect. I'll be honest with you guys here, I have a small manufacturing defect. I'm a manglik. Yeah.
What?
So before I can marry a girl, I have to marry a tree. Now, the only thing more difficult than finding a girl these days
It's finding a tree.
is finding a tree. But you may say, but there are so many trees around, you can just marry it. It's not that simple. There are caste issues.
Are there
You
really?
cannot just marry any creeper or croton. Like if you're a Marwadi, you have to marry a money plant. You're a Brahmin, you marry a touch-me-not.
Oh, he's making jokes now,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
You're mixed caste, you have to marry a hybrid. So I was getting desperate, like because all my friends had girlfriends, they're taking them to all these parks to do naughty things behind the bushes. I was going to the same parks alone to do naughty things with the bushes. But my very good, loving mother, she anticipated this when my horoscope was written. So she started raising a plant in my house.
Aw, that's nice.
Hoping when the time comes, I can just marry it. But now my priest tells me, because the plant and I were raised in the same house by the same mother, we are like brother and sister in Shuma.
No! That's BS! That is BS.
I don't really even understand the culture behind the tree marrying thing.
Well, I don't know exactly, but I just remember we watched a trailer one time where the dude had to marry a tree, and I think it's just this thing. When you're born, the priest will read your horoscope, and it's very important when you're getting married in order to have your horoscopes read for you and the person you're marrying, so you can see whether you're compatible, what time of day, on which day your wedding should be, and blah, blah, blah. Like, this is all really important stuff, and I guess according to his chart, there's some sort of, it could be like a black mark or something like that. And so in order to have a successful marriage, he needs to marry a plant or a tree. I mean, that whole thing about the priest going, oh, but you were raised in the same house by the same mother as the plant, like you're basically brother and sister. I buy that.
His way of speaking is so enunciated. It reminded me of the owl from the lollipop commercial, the Tootsie Roll commercials. Do you remember those as a kid? Like this fat white kid walks up to the owl and goes, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
Let's find out. 1, 2, 3.
You never saw that? Oh,
I didn't grow up in America.
I know, but I thought that was like, okay,
No.
anyway. Yeah, the way he speaks reminds me of the Tootsie Roll owl. That's just a complete arbitrary side note. His way of doing stand-up is interesting to me, and I couldn't help but think about it while I was watching it. I almost wished that while he was doing it, and I am not a stand-up comic, I have not ever tried being a stand-up comic. The only time I've ever entertained it a little bit was a little video I shot on my iPhone and I showed it to Achara. She thought it was funny. She's like, but you need work. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not doing this ever again. No, well, I mean, that was the one and only time because I had like a little bit that I've always wanted to try stand up, but I'm just too afraid.
Yeah,
I'm just way too afraid. Hats off to everyone who goes up there and gives it a shot. My brother tried to do it at one point. So when I critique stand-up comedy, it's like, take it with a tiny grain of salt. Like, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just like expressing my observation as I do on this YouTube channel. So while I was watching him, I almost wished that he would grab the microphone and just sort of like take his time in between certain ideas, because I started to be reminded that this was for all intents and purposes, a speech. And it was like a memorized speech, and he was doing a very good job of going through it, but I almost wish that he found a way to like engage with people a little bit more so that it felt like a conversation, much in the same way that Louis C.K. or Bill Burr does, or even this new, I discovered this new comic the other day, Amir K, who's like Iranian and white, and the way he does it as well. It's like they find ways to engage the people, and they're all holding the microphone. And there's something that makes it feel more personal, whereas when your hands are free, like if you're doing that the whole time, it doesn't feel as, now this is my American sensibilities perspective thing, right? Because for Indian audiences, that made it, that the way he was doing it may have connected with them really, really strong. I'm looking at the votes, 492,000 up, 10,000 down.
That's really strong.
Very strong, 13.4 million views, very, almost 13.5, very strong. So I thought his comedy was great. It was poignant. It was relevant.
Yes.
Because this topic has been relevant for many years.
And it was really smart.
It's very smart.
Yes.
The only thing I had wished while he was doing it was that somehow he connected more, because I thought he was doing a great job otherwise. And it was, like I said, it was very poignant and interesting. He was making interesting observations, some of which were culturally gated from, or at least I am. Others I felt were more universal.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely see what you're saying there, and I think to a certain extent I agree, but I think he was also really leaning into just his awkwardness.
That's true.
Because I could kind of see, like, maybe he was a little bit nervous, just like in the body, but I wasn't sure if that was him just putting on an act or if that was really him.
Somewhere in between.
Yeah, and then also he's a quirky looking guy.
Right.
And so he like really leans into that. And so I feel like having the microphone there and just kind of just really accessing that awkwardness and making use of it because that's what he has, it worked for me. But I think if he could incorporate some like movement with the microphone, it might feel a little bit more like natural.
I've seen, I was at Cammie Storm took me to
a comedy.
The Comedy Store
right.
In Hollywood with her and her friend. And I watched this guy get up there, and I just happen to have some whiskey here.
Not alcoholic.
I watched this guy get up there, and he just kind of talked into the microphone like this, and he was just kind of not even engaging with anyone in the audience, but sort of just almost to himself, talking in a very ASMR sort of way. But even though he was talking at this level, everything he was saying was fucking hilarious. It was like really, really funny stuff still. And him kind of just talking like this almost made you listen harder.
Right.
You know, because sometimes that's a trick that people do where they get much quieter because it feels more intimate. And so what it makes you do is lean in a little bit more and turn your ear towards them because you want to hear what they're saying, right?
Right.
It's a little psychological trick. But anyway, yeah, I almost wonder if he's still having these issues because he's not actually a bad-looking guy.
No.
He's quirky looking, but I think women really, at least as far as my experience goes, women like quirky-looking dudes. He's tall, and he looks put together. Like his outfit, he looks like a clean. Like I'm having a hard time buying into the premise that he has a hard time with women.
I think he probably would do better in person than on a site because on a site, sad but true, you're looking at a picture, and if the picture's not grabbing at you straight away, you might not choose that person. But if you actually talk to that person in real life and you found out like he's a really smart guy, he's really funny, he's got so much going for him, he would probably do much better. So
so he just has to wait for Corona to be over.
Yeah, to like hit on all the ladies after your show because that's, I mean, unless they're all there with their boyfriends, in which case that sucks. But there's bound to be some single ones there.
But he made a point to talk about. I mean, when you hear about these stories about, you know, light skin being favored and whatnot, you often associate that with women, at least as far as the stories that come out of India, and, you know, that land on my ears and my eyes. You don't really think about it with regards to men. And here you have a dude talking about how even for him, he experiences issues and strife with regards to this particular topic because of his family, his upbringing, society at large, like how they view dark-skinned people and whatnot. There were some observations he was making that I'm pretty sure were just jokes with regards to the food and whatnot. Like I don't know. Like that sounds kind of hilarious that someone would do that because I don't know. Like he does his mom actually believe that? It sounds like a very Asian thing, but does his mom actually believe that him drinking coffee is gonna make him darker?
Listen, I grew up with a superly superstitious Asian mom, and so when I hear him telling stories about his mom saying stuff like that, I realize that they might be slightly hyperbolic, but behind that is truth.
Right.
Because like my mom will say some stupid things, like I can't think of any off the top of my head right now, but like that behavior that he's talking about, like, okay, growing up, my mom was just appalled at how small my nose bridge was, right? She was like, oh my God, you're gonna have a flat nose. And so every day she would grab me and she would like just pinch my nose, just like that. And to this day, like, I mean, I don't have like the highest nose bridge, but it's not completely flat. And my mom goes, see, I saved you. Because if I didn't do that to you when you were a baby and you were little, you wouldn't have a nose bridge today, let me tell you. And I'm just like, Mom, I think I probably would have, but okay, believe what you want to believe. I think his mom could be like that. And I find that just so relatable, you know?
I forgot where I heard it, but there are guys who, when they are about to get lucky, when they know they're gonna get lucky that evening, they'll drink lots of milk. Because they think that it's going to equate to something else. Like like one of those special blue movies, you know?
Oh. I thought that they would have drunk like, I don't know, like pineapple juice or
Blue,
something.
what do they call it
'cause
in
I've heard
India?
that
Blue
that's-
film or blue video?
Is that what it's
blue
called?
films. But I think they're called blue films. I get a little confused. Like A-rated is R-rated. In India's A-rated are R-rated, from what I understand. But anyway, yeah, it's not for flavor. It's for amount. Yes. It's for egregious amounts of something. So, like, if you subscribe to that belief, you keep doing that.
It also helps with alcohol absorption.
Oh, does it really?
Just letting you know. That was my dad's trick. Whenever he and my mom used to go out for parties when I was little, I'd always see him drinking like a big glass of milk, and he'd say it's to line.
Maybe he believed the same thing.
No, he said it was to line his stomach so he wouldn't get too drunk or like have a hangover the next day.
And to have explosions.
I don't want to think about that with him and my mom.
Hey, you're the one that brought it up.